red. They actually ban away the Lucian because it's the only team, I think, in the league that still plays it, but Light is still exceptional on the pick.
And normally this is where teams would go for the Aphelios, but since it is V5, it does always open up for what we're seeing on the screen now for them to go towards the Senna. They're by far the best, like, Senna Tom, or, you know, if they even want to opt into any other type of quote-unquote support in the bot lane. They've just been so consistent at being able to pull out this pick and to make it work when out in those extended fights later on. You just find a lot of impact on the map. So we get the Senna, and we instantly go straight into the Xin Zhao as well. Just another pick where Bao can be very aggressive in the early game, but also provide some peel, provide some strong frontline and team fighting as the game progresses.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Bao, this sort of fits his style as well. Like you said, kind of having that early aggression. We talked about how he had some of the best, early game stats in jungle so far. Again, hasn't played a huge amount of games. Still has a 100% win rate, so still looking exceptionally good on this team. And this will become his, actually with this game, this becomes his most played champion of the split so far. He had 2 games alongside his Wukong, but Sivir, Yuumi locked in for Light and Lumao. Honestly, I'm so happy to see this purely because I think Light had an exceptional game in game 1.
So this is exactly what FPX pulled out the other day when they took down Anyone's Legend. So they know they're going up against a bot lane that is not going to put up a lot of threat. So they're like, cool, we're just going to go for the scaling. We have the movement speed that Sivir is going to bring later on. We have like kind of the hyper scaling AoE teamfight ability, but also the Yuumi. And then pairing that with the Wukong as well. They're just going to have so many ways of running and locking Victory 5 down.
Yeah, and that's going to be, again, like you said, just good scaling coming out here. And I like what LNG are doing with these bans as well, saying, look, Rookie, we understand that if we take scaling, you might just go for something like a Azir hyper scale into the late game. We are not going to allow it. V5 kind of saying we're not going to let the Silas through. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised even to see the Lysandra ban coming out here from LNG, because we saw what Doinb can do with it. I have no doubt in my mind that Rookie could do the same thing. And you are waiting on a bit of a primary engage to come out from V5 for the moment.
I'm curious to see what they go with their soul laners, because I feel like typically when you have things like Senna Seraphine or just any type of, like sustain like this that can allow members to keep going in, like Yuumi on the opposite side as well. I really like bruisers who can bring some sustain, and they can kind of just feel like unkillable frontliners with the amount of support that they have behind him. We have a lot of things banned out though, and V5 actually taking away a lot of those like options themselves in terms of like Silas and Gwen kind of fitting that description, but instead going to go straight towards the Gragas. I do also want to highlight that, right, even though we expect it to be Senna Seraphine bot, something we've seen a few times in the LPL now, like, the Seraphine also technically could be a flex and always could go towards that mid lane if they so choose.
Yeah, got the Gragas there, so good disengage there. Of course, nice flash body belly bop. We saw Hoya on TT using it to very great success in all 3 of the games in our previous series there today, but what do you want to go for? Light going to be locking in the Ornn for pandac in that top side. So getting themselves, again, a good team fighter. Someone who can set up. Yeah, I was going to say, you could go Clid, and it would actually work out very well. You wouldn't have a lot of AP damage, but honestly, with a Sivir in your team, you don't really need it.
You would have, like, no AP damage. You would also be blinding it. It would be a terrible idea. But Clid did get buffed this patch. So, like, that's what I want to see. If Doinb doesn't pick it at some point this patch, I'll be kind of disappointed. He hasn't played it this split. But this does give them the AP. It does give them the sustain. Ooh. And on the opposite side, we get Rookie bringing out the Yone. My God, this series so far delivering.
It is huge to see him here. And again, this is what it gives you when you have got the Gragas topside. It doesn't build tank anymore. You get the AP. The Seraphine as well builds AP in the later stages. And honestly, if you can fight team fight with team fight, if you can burst out Light, there is no real damage on the side of LNG. So Rookie's going to have one target in these team fights, and it's going to be Sivir.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how these pan out, right? Because LNG's definitely very short range. You already hit on Sivir in the 500 auto attack range earlier. Like, you need to get up close and personal. Swain, Wukong, all of these champions hitting the same mark in terms of like these like very brawly, very scrappy fights. To where for the side of V5, I feel like it's a little bit different, right? It is a little bit more important in terms of the positioning that you're giving through, because if Senna Seraphine get engaged on by things like the Wukong early on and are taken out of the fight, it just feels like V5 might not have a lot of steam to work with. I'm very curious to see how this mid lane matchup goes, though, of Yone versus the Swain, and to see what kind of impact Rookie can find on this pick.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit of a pop quiz before we jump into the game. Obviously, since 2014, Rookie has had a fantastically illustrious career. How many games of Yone do you think he has?
My guess is going to be 1. For some reason, I
this
feel like
is
he's
the
played
number
it
one.
once. So
this
is
is
the first one?
This is the first time we are seeing Rookie on the pick. So we're going to have a first professional pick here for Yone on Rookie, or Rookie on Yone, whichever one you prefer. And this, honestly, I'm not going to elaborate any further from that point, as we got a interesting little intro there for the LNG Stadium. And yeah, again, I want to see what he can do with this pick. It's going to be very curious to see if he can find his mark. But if he doesn't find it on the Sivir, you're going in without a paddle. I feel like V5 very much going to rely on him to be the initial kind of initiator alongside kind of the secondary engage of things like the Seraphine ultimate and such like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot about how his team supports him as V5 trying to force their way in. But Light should be fine with the enemy walking in. And kind of looking at how these drafts go, right? I mean, we have kind of two bot lanes that want to scale, don't want to do too much. Two top laners that should be a bit of a wet noodle fight. Maybe Rich can try and find some prio and impact the map like we saw Hoya doing earlier from TT. Like he was just constantly giving waves and grouping up. Because V5 definitely having a lot of all-in and aggression coming out from their mid-jungle. It's not mixed damage, so it's not like as hard to itemize against for Doinb, right? Especially someone who can opt into like maybe an earlier Zanya's or Ninja Tabby or anything like, I guess plated steel caps now, anything like that could make his life a little bit easier. But point is, I expect Shellingbound Rookie to be the aggressors, especially once Rookie, starts getting some levels on his belt, hits level 3 and has a lot of that like all-in short trade potential.
And the all-in short trades that you want to be trying to set up there. And we'll see what they're able to kind of go for as we get both junglers starting on the top side of the map, and they should be pathing their way towards bot side. I do love to see if you can be a little bit more inventive with your pathing. Of course, the idea that, you assume the enemy has information on you and you kind of subvert it can be a massive tool in favor of your arsenal, as we can now see Photic needs to be very careful here, because at level 2, he's not going to have a lot of sustain. And early levels, this Yuumi Sivir is going to be very powerful, just consistently putting back this Senna Seraphine.
Yeah, and again, I saw like Freak put up the numbers right, and actually Sivir's W now being 4 seconds instead of just 3 hits with the Ricochet actually does come out to being able to get a little bit more damage onto enemy champions in the early game, as we see all-ins coming out on both sides.
Yeah, we get the full all-in on the Photic, who ignited on top of him. It will only just be that one summoner spell, though, for the moment, as Light did take up the TP. And you've got Luma with the heal in the back pocket. Of course, you never take flash on a Yuumi. You're always attached to someone who usually has one themselves. It's now Tarzan going for a little bit. Yeah, the never move. Huge. The exhaust comes down. I think Rookie knows he's probably going to be dying. He flashes anyway, but a flash over. He gets the shielding. He's going to be coming back to his own shadow. But now XLB trying to see if he can trade this one back. The never move from Doinb as he flashes to make sure Tarzan cannot go down. They will lose both flashes off the mid laners and junglers. But now Tarzan and Doinb, the never move. Oh, so close to hitting him, not quite able to make it. XLB getting the bit of healing. And while that was happening in bot side, we can see that Seraphine is getting a kill back onto the Yuumi and the Sivir. This is an all-out brawl as they finally get Doinb getting a kill. It's 3 for 2, and Lyric, there's action across the board.
Mid laners and junglers are going crazy. Doinb might walk into Rookie here.
Might walk into him, but he's going to have to go back to his effigy as a cat decides to try and jump in here. But now ppgod, why are you here? You have got flash, and you might have to use it there in a second, but no real CC available to LNG, and we're going to need a lot of replays there to catch up what happened.
We have 5 kills in 3.5 minutes. We're going to see here, actually going all the way back to bot lane. Oh, I guess maybe some more action happening down here as LNG looking for the all-in. Shooting some good trades down. We see Lumao connect the Q. And Light with the flash forward, able to find it with all the shenanigans going on around mid. Completely missed that one coming through. I kind of doing a walk back to mid of like nice gank coming out from LNG, because once again, Yone is one of these champions whose trade patterns put him in harm's way. Like you need to be getting in there. You need to be looking for these like short bursty trades, backing out. And typically a lot of times you're putting yourselves in harm's way. So LNG played around that beautifully. Doinb was, I mean, those first few never moves were gorgeous.
Oh, they really were. Even the fact that he flashes in behind XLB to make sure that when he hits the never move, it's going to drag him away from Tarzan so that Tarzan doesn't die. Really, really well played from him. And this is what we talked about right at the start of the day. Where have you been all my life? Because Doinb, this split, honestly, has been really underperforming. I don't think anyone's going to argue that particular fact in this, setup, because he's really not been the Doinb of 2021, where he was pentakilling on Lee Sin and 100% carrying FBX to 2 back-to-back finals. But now we're starting to see him come back. Now we're starting to see him be that massive mid lane threat and just again add to the massive mid lane pool that we have for ourselves.
especially when you have someone like Tarzan who is putting up such extreme levels of pressure. So great to see them finally starting to come together as a mid-jungle that we'd always hoped to see. To where on the opposite side, Photic not able to beat an annoying nuisance one more time. And for the fact that it is Sivir Yuumi versus Senna Seraphine, a lot more brawling and a lot more scrappiness than I think we would expect to see come through.
We can actually talk about the Sivir for a little bit as well. So let's like kind of break down the newer style. Obviously, there's a lot of nuances to the way that her mini rework came in. But what power spikes are we waiting for? What are the big moments where this Sivir will just become, you know, the stronger it can be?
I feel like the biggest change is definitely her W coming through, where, like we've hit on, that it used to just be like Ricochet would be your next 3 attacks. Now it is just 4 seconds and also gives you some movement speed. So a lot more potential to get damage out, on top of the fact that before, it could only hit an enemy champion once per Ricochet. Now it can actually hit an enemy champion twice. So your damage potential is a lot higher, especially when we get to these like late game kind of grouped up fights. And the other big change that I gravitate towards is the R, to where now, like, you don't get that instant burst of movement speed. You do still get it, but on kill, it refreshes the duration, and while you're auto-attacking during your R, it actually lowers the cooldown of your basic abilities by 0.5 seconds. So kind of a lot of a potential to get a lot more damage out in these like close-knit, brawly team fights if Light can continue to auto-attack consistently.
Yeah, it's about planting your feet and getting yourself to basically, as I say right here, just get those ricochets out. You can see just even the ricochet going between the minions really just multiple times, constantly making a bit more of a nuisance of themselves. And
you're like an artillery turret, just like doo -doo 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 -doo.
Basically with like little boomerangs, little I don't even know what they're called, to be honest with you, giant rings of death. And now ppgod wanted a little bit of a honey fruit, but you shall not be allowed to eat your vegetables. You must go back into the jungle and kill some monsters for meat. That is what you have to do right now. But a dragon is live. Lumao and Tarzan looking to see if they can maybe make this one a bit of a quick trade, but they recognize that they know they've been spotted, so they're thinking maybe someone would walk over trying to get some advantage. But not to be, and they should be able to take this dragon pretty damn easily.
LNG doing a nice job of utilizing their prio in both mid and bot to be able to secure this one. B5, we're going to see how they respond. Maybe Shellenbout can try and find something around mid again, but no, Tarzan actually here first.
Okay, so they haven't got the dragon just yet. Tarzan looking to try and just cover his lanes and get a little bit of a trade-off right now. The blue buff will be stolen by XLB and get himself back onto the map. That might give him level 6 right now. No, not quite. It's probably only just about a camp or so left on that one there. As we can see, pandac looking to try and just be a nuisance here onto the Gragas, and now Rich is actually fully engaged onto this one here, and what is happening right there? I think the explosive cast actually moved pandac into a better position behind Rich, who may be forced to flash away. The Bellows Breath will come out, but he's not really in position to flash. Oh, pandac, that's not what you wanted. He thought he could flash, get the brittle proc and the auto attack, and now he is just going to die. Shellenbout in the right place at the right time after stealing the blue, and that is the little bits of moments that you're talking about from pandac that just aren't quite there yet.
Look, Asheen, we're going to silver lining this and be like, hey, this is how you get experience in the LPL. You take the all-in trades, you see what you can get away with, and you learn from there. Tarzan going to try and use this opportunity to sneak himself a Rift Herald. Shellenbout doing his Krugs and Rookie hovering towards bot side. I think Tarzan will probably just end up getting this one for free.
Yeah, probably just Rookie. Seeing if he's looking for a flank, but not quite. So yeah, gonna be able to get the Rift Herald for free, but with all the pressure in the bot side, it's almost 2 plates as well over the V5, so they're not unhappy with this trade.
No, so far doing a solid job in terms of how they're playing out this matchup. We can already see Lumao picking up the Oblivion Orb as well, just with the amount of sustain in that lane. Definitely wanting to make your way to that Chemtech Putrefier and make it not so hard to deal with. As we see here, comes out, actually E's early. He ended up not getting hit by the cask because he E'd, but obviously also not able to get the second hit of the ram, and then just trying to run him down. I mean, Rich's cooldowns are just so low, right? Able to keep them coming up consistently. His flash doesn't close enough distance for him to be able to get the last auto, and I don't think he'd have enough damage anyway, but still buys enough time for Shellenbout to be able to get up here and punish the aggression coming out from pandac.
Yeah, it gives him enough time for the Xin Zhao, and the Xin Zhao in the early game is just so damn powerful. We can see now with the explosive cast, this time around you're being delivered straight to Photic, who puts down the little bit of a root. They're going to be able to auto you down, no problem whatsoever. But with the Senna going up towards that top side, that does mean you have priority bot lane. So can LNG make something work off of this, now that they have the Rift Herald and priority over the Dragon? ppgod thinking about maybe he might get dove, but very difficult to do that onto a Seraphine at the best of times.
I'm actually surprised they don't commit to it more, as Doinb getting heavily traded on. Maybe just still curious about if Xiaolongbao would maybe be closer by right now, so they instantly pivot to the Dragon. But now V5 are going to be able to come and contest because Photic just making his way from top to mid, now having Prio so they can come and contest. So Tarzan has to back off. LNG get nothing. Fantastic roam from Photic, created so much pressure.
Yeah, it really did, and LNG just didn't have an answer for it. And even then, like pandac going up towards top side, he's now down about 25 CS. He also doesn't have a teleport, so if they wanted to go for a fight around this Dragon, it'd be very difficult for LNG to actually match what V5 have available to them. And with the Everfrost available over a couple of half items, you're just nowhere near in terms of the power spike as you on LNG as you are with V5. So great moves around the map here from V5. Really good understanding of how they wanted to try and set this game up. And honestly, it just feels like right now V5 are looking much more comfortable on this game.
Yeah, V5 definitely finding their footing early, which they did do in game one, right? Just typically then they started finding all those, giving over all those picks. They've died a few times, but it has been much better. We've seen them kind of stabilize because let's remember that we had 5 kills at 3 minutes, so actually most of these kills have not happened recently. And they're just doing a nice job of playing around their Senna actually being the one to move. You can see Photic actually hovering around mid right now, leaving ppgod to catch waves.
Yeah, now we can see Doinb trying to use the Visions of Empire, but he's getting caught out just a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
That's unfortunate for LNG, but great for
Yeah,
V5.
I was going to say, I guess it
depending on
depends
your point
the
of view. Yeah, you're losing the Demonic Ascension, especially at this early stage. It's not that big of a cooldown, but it means you can't look for those big aggressive trades at the end of it all.
It just means if V5 are somehow able to force a fight right now while they have all their ultimates up, that Doinb's going to be a little bit of a non-factor, not able to be that drain tank that the Swain usually is. And it looks like now V5 going to commit fully up to this top side with almost all members.
Yeah, they're going to try and see there's the Ornn coming out, the Call of the Forge God, just to try and clear out this minion wave. But it's not exactly a damaging ultimate, not exactly a true shot barrage. I will say you end up trading the tower in bot lane. That being said, though, double TP. It's Rookie and Rich. They think it's only 1, but it's going to be 2. There's going to be a 3-man Everfrost right into the Fate Seal. They will get the Senna ultimate on top of it as well. And this is just absolute perfection from V5. They call the bluff of LNG. LNG did not expect a double TP, and they are punished.
That was a great play, and they're still punishing in mid as well. They're pushing onto this mid lane turret. V5 completely punishing LNG everywhere on the map.
Yeah, it is just, this is the V5 that is so terrifying. This is the V5 that is going to really want to try and make a mark in the playoffs right now, and why we consider them to be probably our top team at the moment, because they are just so good at getting an inch, taking a mile. 4 plates in mid lane and a 4,000 gold lead.
And we're going to see here both waiting, channeling their TPs at the same time. And then just the way the play is executed is beautiful. Rich going in immediately, huge Everfrost like you said, and then we see the ultimate come out from Rookie. Doinb gets away. You were able to lock down 2 members, so the focus was definitely on point for Rich and Rookie.
Yeah, and again, like you use that Rift Herald to try and create the trade-off, get the turret plates, the tower, get something off of that, but you just don't have the position for it. Now Tarzan, seeing that he can't just walk up to this wave as Rookie is so confident on this Yone pick. He's never played it professionally before, but now it's looking like a comfort pick.
Yeah, it definitely is. And now with plates going down, I believe LNG got 6, and V5, I think, got 8 or 9. So definitely V5 being up, I mean, being very far up in gold with how we've been seeing this game go so far, even in terms of CS advantages, which is one area V5 have completely been winning out. Game 1 to Game 2 is just being able to find these lane leads. Both Rich and Rookie are up massively. Heck, even Xiaolongbao in the jungle, kind of cementing himself a difference with Tarzan, even being a level up is, Rookie not able to connect.
He was looking for it, though. I do want to get your opinion as well on this build right now, because Rookie's going straight for the Blade of the Ruined King. Of course, if you know anything about Yone and Yasuo, they build off of Crib. I'm going to stop myself very quickly here. As Xiaolan Bao forced to flash over the wall. Rookie looking to try and see if he can do something here. Still has flash available to him, but will get never moved all the way back. There's going to be the Cyclone as Rookie doesn't use his flash and gets punished for it. So, LNG trying to just get back some of that tempo, and they do get themselves a good kill.
We will see V5 answer with a turret in mid, and assuming Xiaolan Bao starts moving up to Herald now, you would assume that should be something that V5 are looking to pick up. But, you know, in terms of Rookie going towards Blade of the Ruined King first, right, especially because it looks like he's going to be playing a lot of side lane, will be able to help him win out in the 1v1 with the HP damage, you know, you're doing on hit. So definitely indexing into being stronger early in terms of that 1v1. And, you know, we can expect to see things like the Immortal Shield Bow and stuff still be able to follow up later on. So won't be able to lose out too much, and we'll be able to index on some strength right now, because V5 are looking to pick up the Herald like we assumed.
Yeah, they've got full priority in top and mid. They've already taken out the 2 outer turrets there. Massive amount of gold lead now, almost coming up to 5,000 at the 15, nearly 16-minute mark. And this Rift Herald's going to have to give them that bit more pressure. The next dragon spawning in 6 seconds. You would imagine they might try and look to try and confirm their status around there. They've already got the first item being picked up by Photic, the Umbral Glaive, making it so much harder for the side of LNG to control areas for consistent long times. And now LNG, you got to figure out a way to come back into this, because you're just being outpaced. You're just being outrun around the map, and honestly, I don't know how you can come back.
Yeah, for them getting outpaced, I mean, just with how far behind they are, and in terms of really having no one who can play out through sides, it just looks really rough, because they kind of have to give up pressure somewhere on the map and then just overload one side to be able to garner some pressure coming through.
Try and overload it now on top side, but as you can see, it's just being answered right now by V5 to get themselves their second Drake. Mountain Dragon going to be the soul now on the Rift, as Shelly gets to do her favorite thing in the world, headbutt turret structures, and we'll probably get 2 pushes off of this. That being said, Rich goes forward to try and jump onto Light. A great spell shield there from Light, stops him from getting disengaged upon. They will take a lot of damage, and Light does have to flash away and use the heal from Lumao, but they do get their man in the end. But while this is happening, V5 are still pushing bot side, and they get 2 towers.
Yeah, V5 are just getting so much more, and it's coming down to that, right? LNG are kind of admitting that they can't match V5, so they're looking to find plays elsewhere. But when you find yourself in this sort of a hole this early on, right, the enemy team should always be able to get more than you. So LNG can at least be able to get this wave pushed in as well. You'd assume back should be coming out, considering that they don't know if certain members of V5 have backed, and of course certain members of V5 have backed, so they will be able to answer out. But we're going to go and see what happened with Rich. I guess just not expecting Tarzan to be waiting in the area. Light with a nice spell shield as well to make sure he doesn't end up getting knocked back. And my god, this was close. Light, though, flashing away from the Senna ultimate to make sure he doesn't go down.
Yeah, an interesting little move there as well. The spell shield giving him the extra little bit of HP. I actually think he dies without that HP, so nice little move, nice little change.
Looks like Rookie is going to be either going towards the Sunfire or the Frostfire Gauntlet. Both are other builds you can see on the Yone. Frostfire, right, going to give you more chase on potential. Sunfire just going to give you a lot of damage once you are looking for those all-ins with that emulate potential, and then just making you beefier overall. So not putting a lot of stock into the damage that Doinb will be doing, right? A lot of LNG's damage is going to be overloaded onto the AD side.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be able to stop myself here as we get a single knock up there. Flash from Photic keeps him alive and well. Pandac trying to run away here, but XLB going to have one little knock up. He's not quite in range, though. He backs himself away. TP did come in from Rich and Rookie. They are holding hands in the TP brothers right now on the solo lanes of V5. They aren't able to turn anything back around. Again, it's still 5,000 gold leader just underneath it for V5, and they are still in control of this game.
And I mean, it's going to take a lot for them to be able to lose control, right? Especially for Light, kind of looking at him to be able to hit that 3-item mark, like the traditional crit 80 carry that she has gone back to being before she becomes an insane team fighter. And Pandac is getting mauled by the poke coming through from ppgod and Photic.
I mean, they tried to go for that. Rookie going to try if he can get away from this one right now. He's going to go straight into the Spirit form, but he's going to have to go back to a point. There's the Seraphine ultimate alongside the Dawning Shadow, and you can see it's just so hard to take down these carries. Doinb, though, finds a great never move. He's on top of 4 members, but he's just not quite there yet. He's not quite got himself the damage. And again, Light's just not really going to be able to put out the DPS needed at this moment in time. It was a good idea from LNG, but it's just not quite there, and they're going to have to sustain line up with a Senna and a Seraphine.
And it's rough when you're playing this AD carry with such low range against things like Senna and Seraphine. You saw what happened when LNG's members group up, and Light is just gone.
You just get CC'd, and if you get caught, you're just going to be burnt down to a crisp. V5 take no prisoners and have themselves a 7,000 gold lead.
And you see, right, because LNG's comp needs to get close, needs to get up front and kind of group on top of each other, and just how much V5 are able to do with the amount of AoE that they do have. LNG are the ones being the aggressors, thinking they maybe found a good angle with Tarzan coming in, but Xiaolongbao buys a lot of space, and then right there, Seraphine ultimate connecting onto two members. Rich zoning out Doinb on the opposite side, so that encore really got a lot of value coming out from ppgod and making it easy to finish off the remaining members of LNG.
Yeah, it really did, and I think that's it just shows you how powerful this composition is from the side of V5. It's something we haven't even seen again. It's a new type of composition they're able to go for, and it's what makes this team so terrifying is that they can just flip it on a dime. They played to protect the comp last time. I was like, all right, Photic, you got all the resources. Now give them all. You have to be the one to try and protect the rest of the team as you go on the Senna. And yes, he will do significant damage. I believe he picked up the Kraken Slayer right there before we go towards this dragon in 30 seconds time.
LNG, though, do have first move on Drake. I don't think V5 are feeling too pressured, considering that they are already 2 dragons up 2-0. So I wonder if they're going to look for a cross map and like maybe threaten a Baron. You could already see V5 making their way up towards that area right now. But now with the other members connecting in, oh, might get a bit of a fight with a Rich waiting in the wings.
Yes, remember now, a lot of flashes were used in that last engage. We're going to see them try and go in on top of this one here. Rich does put out the explosive cast, and Light does end up body blocking it, but immediately the mark is Light. You can see Rookie straight like an arrow goes straight in on top of him, and the fight is going to be all V5. Yes, they lose the Seraphine, but look at the health bars. No one else is going to be going down. Triple kill coming in there for Rookie and Ace, and they can take anything they want. They own the map.
And you could see once Light goes down, LNG just don't have any steam in the composition. You're running an Imperial Mandate Swain, something that's a lot more about enabling others. Rookie with a beautiful ultimate to capitalize and get straight on top of him. We're going to see V5 pick up the Baron. Wouldn't be surprised to see them make their way towards a Dragon after this.
Yeah, Baron, Dragon, all the pressure in all the lanes, and a 10,000 gold lead. They're even going to wait for Seraphine ppgod to get himself back up and ready on the map. So they have a full 5 pallet. But yeah, this is just, look at Rookie. Watch Rookie just hone in on Light and say, I don't care, you're dead.
That was so important, though, because Rich burns a spell shield. So Rookie, the second he sees that, indexes into going in, and even Rich flashing to make sure that they have the combo and the damage there. You could see Doinb doing a respectable amount, but again, the damage is not really able to follow up. Through this whole time, ppgod and Photic able to dish out damage from the backline, but that Gragas and Yone combo is seriously just working so well. Like, my God, the second he saw the spell shield go down, Rookie's just like, this is mine.
Yeah, just flashed in, immediately popped down the Fate sealed, and the fate of Light was sealed in that last particular fight. You can see as well, Rookie with this build, fair enough, doesn't have any crit, but this Bruiser setup with the durability, of course, coming in, it's just so hard to burn him out, to take him out, and even if he does overextend, he's still got so much HP and resistances.
Yeah. And you can see he's making his way towards the Death Stance next, which is only going to make it even more annoying for them to be able to take him down. But honestly, I don't know if I see LNG making it that long, considering we're at an 11k gold lead, and V5, they just keep looking for engages.
Rich is just trying to see if Tarzan will take the bait. They are going to jump on top of him, though. The member move is good, but here comes the Fate Seal right down in the back of the fight. Again, the Encore over the top side of this one. Light trying to see if he can do something. He's still alive, and Doinb still doing damage. He's in the stasis to make sure he can stay there a little bit longer. Xiaolongbao will finally fall down, but it's just a Yuumi and a Sivir, and Rookie is still so healthy. How can you take him out? It's a fine fight for LNG, but you've lost the 3 for 2, and I don't think you can defend.
Like, you know it's bad when all of V5's members just stayed in the Swain ult and did not care. They're just like, fine, we'll wait for you to come out of your zonas. We are going to kill you no matter what they do it. They guaranteed an inhibitor. And, I mean, just the amount of sustain coming through for the side of V5. Senna plus Seraphine. Such an annoying combo. Seraphine is definitely a champion. I think we should see more in the LPL, considering that it feels like her and, like, the items around her have only consistently gotten buffed. patch after patch after patch, and we still haven't seen her get hit yet. So we'll go straight into the replay. Rookie and Co kind of finding initial damage, but it will be once Rich goes in and gets a huge chunk onto Tarzan that the rest of the V5 squad kind of have to follow up with how far committed he is. Thing is, they don't really care about having to follow up because they just have so much damage. They get a good amount onto the front line of LNG. Can't necessarily reach Light, but we see things like the Encore getting a lot of value. And again, at the same time, Photic might not be playing a flashy role, but look, he's like auto-attacking this whole time, keeping them down. And here's what I said. They don't even care about being in his ultimate. They just know they have enough sustain and enough damage to win out in the extended fight.
I will say a small silver lining right now for the side of LNG is you are onto a triple item AD carry in Light. So if Light can stay alive, Light can do damage. We even saw towards the back end of that fight, he literally picks up the Infinity Edge, and all of a sudden the rest of V5 have to back themselves away. That being said, though, you are in a very deep and dark hole for the side of LNG. V5 are about 11,000 gold ahead of you, and they are scaling exceptionally into the late game. You've already got 3 items onto your Seraphine. You're building up to that Quincy's Rage Blade for Photic, who's already got the Kraken Slayer. It's tough. It's so tough. It's going to take a big effort for V5 to really lose this, in my opinion.
He will have to outplay so hard, or V5 will need to make like countless mistakes, right? Because you have to kite out with Sivir range against a Yone, Xin Zhao, Gragas who are jumping on top of you. Not to mention the fact that both Senna and Seraphine will be damaging you off of your screen. So,
yeah.
I mean,
I'm trying to be positive, man. I'm just, you know,
hey, but that's why it's setting the
influence.
stage. if he does it, he is an absolute legend.
Yeah, he's a god in the eyes of AD carries if he's able to do it. And with a GA picked up for a Xiaolan Bao, he's looking very good. I will say as well, pandac has just not had a good game right now. He's 0-5, 3 levels down, and honestly, still hasn't even finished up his first item. He's just getting wrecked underneath the turret right now. That's your tankiest member, and Rookie's kind of playing with him like he's a child.
Yeah, Rookie doesn't even need to respect the amount of damage coming out from the turret, just with how tanky he's gotten with that stance and Frostfire Gauntlet. So he's keeping up pressure in sides. He does have TP up now, so I like that V5 are kind of playing the map very wide, knowing that they do have the TPs able to come through. LNG also do have 2 TPs, not on their mid laner, but Light, of course, having one. But Light definitely not going to feel comfortable matching Rookie in a side lane. And Rookie's pulling 4 members to him to have to deal with this.
We're going to see now Doinb, no mana. And a flash to try and get him away. The never move lands onto the minions, so it's not really going to do him a lot. He pops down the exhaust onto XLB. They're going to TP in. He's going to actually force a TP from pandac as well. This is going to be a 5v4. pandac jumps in to try and run away immediately. Rookie gets a 2-man, technically 3-man knockup and goes straight onto the tank. Like we said, he does not respect you. He does not think your damage is relevant. It's going to be the Ornn coming out to try and disengage. Goes right between the sticks. That's going to be a nice 3 points there over to the side of pandac, but he's just not having the moment right now. Tarzan tries to look for something. You can see Light is doing damage, but can he get himself in the position to do some more? The answer is no. Rich will put him right into the fray, and that is going to be V5 2-0. It was close in game 1. It wasn't even a competition in game 2.
No, V5 made it look so easy once they started finding some momentum in this game. Constantly roaming around, getting in the face of LNG and finding these picks. We saw some beautiful mechanical plays come out from V5 in terms of the coordination between Rich and Rookie in these fights. Overall, just really fun series. Pretty sad for LNG. I'll still take the series overall as a positive for them, considering the Game 1 performance. But, right, I mean, this really feels like how it was going to pan out in terms of V5 being able to pick up the win in the end, just overall with the split that they've been able to have, even doing it with a bit of pizzazz. You highlighting Rookie's first career game on the Yone, and now V5 locked into playoffs, guaranteed. You can't take it away from them, no matter how much I know you want to, Machine.
Why do I want to take it off of them? I'm not here to try and rain on anyone's parade, but yes, it is going to be the playoffs locked there. 10 is the magic number for now to lock yourself into playoffs, especially with 3.5 weeks left of play, which is a pretty nice place to be. And now it's all about positioning. Because remember, it's a gauntlet. It's not just about getting into the top 10. It's about getting as far into that top 10 as you possibly can, because that is where it's going to be the big matchups coming out later on in the split. But for the moment, congratulations to V5. They are in there, and they join the likes of Top Esports and JD Gaming. The 3 teams that started the season so brightly are continuing to put themselves at the top of the pack.
Yeah, and it's just so nice to see V5 even having two options in terms of junglers, right? Whether it's Karsa or Xiaolong Bao, like
Dream as well.
Yeah, like either way, even substituting these players out, it just feels like that they have a good idea of how they want to play the game as a unit, and that to me that shows that you have like a good system behind you. If you can sub out people like Rookie, who's again just the best player on this roster and just outright one of the best players to ever play the game, and even Karsa with like the intangibles, his experience, his leadership, all these types of things, that Xiaolong Bao can come in a bit fresher and it doesn't change anything, I think shows the strength of V5's coaching staff as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think they built this roster. They've worked with it as well. I think if you look at maybe some of the people they brought in, I remember Rich came in. A lot of people very skeptical about his introduction to this roster, and even the league in general saying, oh, he's a Heroes of the Storm. He's not really going to be someone who can like just try and transition over to this. And honestly, has been a fantastic addition to the roster and the league straight up. And yeah, look at all the damage done across the board. Light tried his very best, but you're just, when you have so little outside of your AD carry to deal with these existential threats, you're just not going to be able to do anything outside of it when Light's targeted like this.
No, I mean, it's just the problem that they fell behind too much early on, right? Because had they been able to go to, let's say, like 30 minutes, which this game didn't even make it to, in like a neutral or slightly behind point, because V5 should be able to find early advantages with what they drafted, but if they could have kept it manageable, then it's like, okay, your front line, like pandac was literally getting bursted out just by Rookie by himself, right? But if your front line can actually be able to withstand that damage, kind of bait out some cooldowns and buy space for Light to be able to walk forward, it could work. The problem here was Light never able to walk forward. I believe Photic finished off with 120 souls as well, so that's a decent bit of bonus range coming in for him, making it even harder for Light to be able to find access to the fight. So yeah, very creative draft coming out from V5. I think making it pretty hard for LNG's draft to work with the early advantage that V5 were able to find.
Yeah, I love as well you mentioned the early advantage, because I did a little bit of research just before coming in today because I was quite curious. The LPL is actually the fastest major region of the four. We have an average game time of